It was a cold autumn evening, the wind blowing leaves from the trees, only slightly drowning out the quarrel between Stan and Tony. Solid disagreements broke this couple, pushing them to parting. Tanya finally shouted out a few big words, was about to leave, but Stan decided differently. He grabbed the poor girl and threw it into the trunk of his car, got behind the wheel and drove. Went far. Tanya screamed, but the heavy downpour hitting the roof of the car and the music in the cabin drowned out her screams. After 40 minutes the car stopped. Stan pulled the girl out of the trunk and dragged her towards a small, dilapidated hut. "Now you will feel what I was like," he said. Tanya tried to break free, and this only infuriated the seriously angry guy more. Suddenly, the girl felt a strong blow to the back of her head. Darkened in the eyes, Tanya woke up in a cold room that looked like a basement. Hands and feet were tightly tied to the table, and there were no clothes at all. "Are you awake?" I heard a dull voice from the darkness. "Now you will live here. You've been getting on my nerves for too long to just leave me and walk away. Now I will play." The guy stepped out of the dark. Under the light of a dim lamp, the outlines of his body became visible. He approached and put a gag in the naked girl's mouth. What happened next is better left unsaid. He raped the poor girl for several hours, thinking only about his animal satisfaction. When he finished, he left the tormented body of the girl lying on the table, and he himself went into the house. Tanya lay and cried, thinking what to do. Deciding to move, she realized that the rope fixing her hand had been weakened. A few moves and your hand is free. Already at least something. Tanya was delighted. She untangled the ropes with her free hand. The girl decided to take action. Leaving the basement, she went up to a small house, where she saw how her once beloved boyfriend was preparing dinner. Cautiously crawling meter by meter along the cold wooden floor, the girl reached the door. The antiquity of the building played against the girl and the door opened with a loud creak. Tanya saw Stan's furious eyes looking at her and realized that it was time to run. The guy rushed after him, but catching on a dilapidated jamb, he flew down and hit the steps. Blood began to ooze from the boy's chest. Broken ribs pressed against his lungs and he began to choke. During this time, the girl managed to escape. She ran through the tall grass, which painfully cut the still naked body of the girl. Road. Here it is, salvation. The girl ran to the track, gesticulating with her hands. Surprisingly, almost immediately the car stopped. Taxi. The girl jumped into the back seat, telling the driver to drive towards the city. The driver drove silently. After a couple of minutes, the car turned onto a narrow path in the field, and slowly drove along it. The girl became uncomfortable. Tanya asked, "Where are we going?" Without waiting for an answer, she saw the glint of familiar eyes in the mirror. "Do you think you can get rid of me so easily?" Sten turned towards the girl and tried to grab her, but Tanya deftly escaped from the hands of the maniac and jumped out of the car. She ran away, trying to save her life with the last of her strength, but 100 horsepower under the hood of the maniac's car turned out to be faster. Stan started the car and headed towards the girl. Pressing on the gas, the guy accelerated and knocked the poor girl off her feet. "You are mine and will always be mine. Your heart will belong to me." The guy approached his victim and cut out the heart from the chest of the already cold corpse with a cold blade. He began to eat, appetizing to devour someone else's flesh. She gave him energy, making him even stronger. She acted on him like a drug, forcing him to meet girls and, in the future, to kill them, cutting them into pieces. Well, the most delicious part of the human body is, of course, the heart. That it can feel, love. It gives gourmets a special tone, motivating them to new deeds.
Thank you for your attention. Subscribe to the channel.